Black Clover has finally returned with the final battle against the real Lucius beginning. We've been blessed with 2 more chapters of Black Clover, and soon we must go back into waiting for another chapter that probably won't arrive until April. But at least now we can discuss the latest developments of these chapters and what it means for the future of the series. I want to start off with some more good news like I typically do with every new release of Giga. Whenever there is a release of the penultimate chapter of a series, they always announce the next issue is the final one. But because they didn't here, that means that the next issue in the spring will not be the final issue of Black Clover. And we'll have at least another Black Clover release in the summer of this year. And I'll explain later in the video why I believe that I think we still have a fair amount of Black Clover manga left to come. The greatness begins even before the first real page of the manga. And that is with the lead color page where we get Tabata showing off his tremendous art skills once again. There's a lot of discussion in the community about what is the deeper meaning behind this color page, as basically how it happens with every color page we get. Asta and Yuno are standing next to the other and are mirroring the other. Asta has no headband, Yuno no pendant, both are wearing a white shirt, and both are reaching out with their supernatural affected arms, and both of their middle fingers blocking one of their eyes. But I have some thoughts about it. My guess is that these white bits around them are pieces of broken feathers, and they might be Lucius's wings. I think that there might be some sort of a mystery here, and it's hinted at by the covering of Asta and Yuno's eyes, as usually concealing the eye is something of a mystery. They both look kind of horrified here. Asta is a shocking horrified, and Yuno is almost a more accepting horrified. It makes me wonder if there'll be some sort of a revelation that Asta will find shocking, and Yuno will accept as something that he may have well known all along. Or maybe Asta is shocked because Yuno will have to die for Lucius to be defeated, and that's why Yuno is so accepting of it, whereas Asta is shocked. But that's just my 2 cents. It's hard to really dig into these and what they actually mean. I will say that chapter 377 starts with a drama-like doing what he does best, sitting on his ass, watching the entire battle like it's a movie. He's just missing the popcorn. He watches all the fights and thinks how the Clover forces are much stronger than he anticipated. And to me, it seems that this is what Lucius predicted to him when he asked himself, did Lucius see this far ahead? Which is terrifying to think that Lucius had planned all of this, or at least most of it. But the fact that this is all a part of Lucius' plan makes sense with how the issue ends. But a drama-like is one of those wildcard factors for me believing that Black Clover isn't close to being done. Again, he's a complete wildcard. Is he really working with Lucius? Will he betray him? Why is he helping him? What is his magic, etc.? Now, a lot of people are very against a drama-like being anything important because they believe that he doesn't have anywhere near the power to be a threat, as he's only the second gate devil. But I don't think that his power is limited to his gate, at least it shouldn't be anymore, with the hierarchy of devils having been crumbled thanks to Lucius. There are multiple natural ways for a drama to have gotten stronger over the 15-month time skip. The first being that devils that are mid-rank and higher absorb the natural mana of the living world, as we have statements of both random mid-rank devils and the devil twins Lilith and Nama doing this. Not only that, but devils make use of a different type of power called negative mana that is based in negative emotions, and just experiencing negative emotions will increase their magic power. And let's not forget that there are many possible ways that he could have gotten stronger in the meantime, like what if Lucius gave him more power? What if Lucius gave him the magic stones? I don't know. Use your imagination, guys, because I think a Dromlik is going to have a large role in the final stretch. One thing that I'm a bit disappointed with is the rest of the Black Bulls fights. Pretty much all of them got skipped over and off-screened, as we see the Comrade Demons of Henry, Zora, Fenrir, Gray, Vanessa, Gordon, Ghosh, and more. They have all already defeated their respective Lucius clones. I was hoping that they would get their own chapters to cover these fights and expand upon Lucius as a villain, but also the Black Bull characters. The Gordon fight, at the very least, was one I thought should have gotten its own chapter, as Gordon, a cursed mage, is working together with 2 cursed souls that has a lot of narrative weight behind it. With how important these characters are to the story, and how important curses are to the story, it would have been great if Tabata had focused on this chapter, reveal who had cursed Charlotte and William. But if you were craving more of this fight, don't fret, because I think that we're going to get more eventually. And also, hopefully, we will see a close-up of William without his curse, who's likely going to look just like Licht, because from afar, he does look just like Licht. And I love to see Charlotte using her swords more, but at the very least, I expect the anime to expand these fights in the adaptation if the manga doesn't go back and add more. Midway through the chapter, Asta and Yuno had reached their ascent toward the real Lucius, who is sitting upon the cliff-off throne, waiting for them. They exchange some back and forth dialogue before Lucius transforms into his paladin form. But wait, this form looks different from before. He does throw off his fur coat, but that's not the only difference. His power seems to be so strong that it frays the bottom of the cloak. His antlers are are also way bigger than when we have seen it before, and he has more wings than before, and instead of being packed into one big concentric circle, it's multiple of them. This makes me believe that this form is different from the others because of the effects of the cliff-off ritual. And something important to note, that in the process of transforming, there is an activation of the badump sound effect that is later confirmed to be a heartbeat sound effect, which is important for later, but we get another shot of the Dark Triad once again, and the Dark Triad truthers who have been predicting their return for years are probably feeling very good about this, as they looked a bit different the last time we saw them in the cocoon. Dante looks to have healed, and Zenon no longer has part of his midsection missing from Yuno's attacks, which makes me believe that the cliff-off is being used to heal them for the revival, which I would be most excited to see Zenon again, especially as a paladin, but Chapter 377 ends with Lucius attacking Asta and Yuno with some sort of an energy projection attack, and the two of them countering it, and the real fight beginning in Chapter 378. Asta and Yuno would attempt to rush Lucius, but he would teleport between them, and he sends Devil Union Asta flying away with a punch. He would then fend off Yuno by using his brother's stolen bone magic, and then using what seems to be gravity magic to keep Asta's distance. He would then begin to use combinations of his siblings' magic, body compression, bone bullet, jets of blood. My friend Dead Meme theorizes that this is a brand new type of magic, as it was stated by Ryu, that Lucius was combining the magics together, and now instead of the element being named before activation, it's just saying the different body parts, so it could be that this is a brand new magic element. Asta would struggle to block back these bone bullets. In the meantime, Yuno fights his way through the layers of bone, and though he tries to protect himself with the Notice shield, Lucius would launch spears of blood around the shield and land on Yuno. But Asta and Yuno are faring quite well together, which causes Lucius to ponder how this is even possible, as their powers obstruct the other. How are they possibly a good team? And it is revealed that this is the case because they are constantly surpassing the other, and that allows them to surpass Lucius's own prophecies of the future. This allows for Asta to rush in and use a Zeton on Lucius, landing a devastating blow, and allowing for Yuno to swoop in and perform a Saint Spirit of Boreas attack that seems to disassemble Lucius and the floor at his feet. The chapter ends with Belle blowing her horn in victory, while Asta and Yuno remark about the both of them surpassing their limits once again. And the final panel is Asta and Yuno looking off into the distance as the badump sound effect returns. Unfortunately, the Viz translation team removes the editor's notes that makes this far more clear, as the editor note in the Japanese version outright claims these badump sound effects to be from a heartbeat. I know that Viz always removes these editor notes, but why in the hell would you not at least keep this one? Because it has led to so many readers being confused as, is this the true ending of Lucius? If you just add in the editor's note, people would be a little bit more prone to know what's going on, because it is easy to miss these sound effects. Well, let's get back to how I started talking about them. We only heard the heartbeats the first time when Lucius made a conscious effort to transform, and then the heartbeat returns right when he is supposedly killed. I obviously think that these have to be connected, and this is not the end of Lucius, it's only the beginning. All I can think about is that his real body needed to die in order to be fully embedded in the purified Tree of Cliff-Off. As it is my theory, is that the heartbeat is actually Lucius's true heart that is merged with the Tree of Cliff-Off, or at least something similar to that. There's just no way that he's dead. I believe that we will be getting the real version of Lucius in the next issue. Remember that Lucius wants to make a world where humanity is immortal, so they don't have to worry about death. He does this by turning them into paladins. Paladins are made by inserting the soul of a devil into a human, and then purifying the devil power into sacred power. It's almost like he's making his own angels. Even the stronger paladins are called archangels by Adramelech. It has been my theory for a long time that Lucius will try to merge the living world and hell, and then purify the negative mana of hell when they are fused, and that will make a brand new universe for his people to live in, that being called heaven. The Cliff-Off would be needed for this, as it is a magic channel that exists spatially. The Cliff-Off separated the living world and hell. If it can be used to separate them, then maybe they can be used to merge them. And I think one of Yuno's statements outlines Lucius's true plan. I knew it. You're not some god who sincerely wishes peace for us humans. You're just a human who doesn't like it when things don't go his way. Lucius is obviously playing God here. He wants to be divine. He's almost all-knowing thanks to his time magic. He's on the verge of being all-powerful, which is omnipotent and omniscient. That's on the verge for him. But the Tree of Cliff-Off would likely allow him to be omnipresent as well. It seems that the ending of Black Clover is a race against time, trying to stop Lucius from ascending to godhood. And the final mystery could be having to do with this panel here. Now, a lot of people think this is just Lucius about to launch a bone bullet from his navel, but I'm not so convinced. It is a similar body compression to what he did with the other attacks, but instead of flesh being formed into a bullet in front of it, we see light that is in the shape of a rectangle. This makes me wonder if this is his soul, that he was going to launch out of him before he was going to be defeated. It could be a bone bullet, but maybe it's something else. I don't know. And we can fall back into my old theory from months ago that the paladin's deaths are being used to grow the purified cliff off. We had a paladin with water magic, earth magic, and light magic. All of those things are needed to foster the growth of the tree, and they were all killed next to the tree. And Lucius did refer to it as a seed bed. Is this the seed? And did his death really just allow for his essence to be fully transferred into the tree of cliff off? Lucius did say that people would need to be killed so they could be reborn great again. Was that always meant to apply to him as well? And this is what makes me believe that if Lucius' true reveal is coming, that we will eventually go back to these fights that were off-screened. I'm sure the Lucius clones and paladins return, but even stronger next time. And that's why I think we might get Gordon, William, and Charlotte fighting together in a new fight that will not be off-screen next time. One thing that this chapter confirmed is that the quote-unquote real Lucius is far stronger than the clones, which is what I have been predicting for a long time. Now, I will say a lot of people take issue with me calling this the real Lucius, even though he is referred to as the real Lucius, but that's not the point. The whole point is to argue that the clones, the ones that were fighting the Clover Kingdom, are weaker than the real Lucius. Whether or not this is the real Lucius or the real Lucius has yet to be revealed, it's obvious the real Lucius is going to be stronger than the clones, because even if this is not the real Lucius, it's a real-er version of Lucius. So yeah, my point is right. Just because maybe this might not be the real Lucius doesn't really mean much, because this could be right here. This could have been the real Lucius, and then he needed to die to become the tree or whatever. But that doesn't mean that this guy wasn't the real Lucius at the time, right? But it's easy to argue that he is way stronger, because Asta in his base form could damage a Lucius clone, and he could fight multiple Lucius clones at once in just his black form. But now, fighting alongside a fully restored Yuno, Asta uses his partial devil union against Lucius, and in the beginning of the fight, they are actually kind of getting whooped, and they are continuously forced to surpass their limits to win, and Asta still needed to resort to a Zetan. So, the gap between this Lucius and the clones is massive. He'd likely be able to face all of the clones at once and defeat them without difficulty. And I want to end this video addressing a few complaints of the chapters. One is that Lucius was defeated too easily, and we did not see much of his hacks. And while I do wish we got a little bit more of that, we do have to remember that Lucius is not truly defeated. There's something that's going to happen in the next chapter, but also it needs to be reminded that Lucius is still inside of Neverland. That means that his magic power is nerfed, and he cannot use his most hacks magic at all, time magic. And I think this was easy for people to miss, because in the previous chapters, Lucius's base was above and outside of the Neverland monozone, and so we thought that if they were to fight, that Lucius would not be nerfed, the real Lucius could use time magic, but it seems that Yuno getting replenished by Charmy's magic, and then surpassing his limits, and also probably moving, allowed for the range of his monozone to increase to also encompass the real Lucius. So don't be annoyed. I'm sure the real version of Lucius will be revealed, and he'll be incredibly hacked out. Another thing that I saw people getting really confused was Yuno is somehow in a Spirit Dive or even Saint stage with Belle, but Belle is outside. She's completely outside of him. Spirit Dive or even Saint Power is supposed to be done while they are fused together, so how is this possible? And I think that this is something that can easily be explained. Either they developed a new form where Yuno just absorbs her power without fusing, because remember that Neverland is a combo spell between him and Belle, so he could be using her power through the Neverland monozone, allowing him to do Spirit Dive without fusing. Or it can just mean that Yuno can do Saint Stage without fusing with Belle, and it's now a pathway for Yuno to get much stronger for him to now still fuse with Belle thereafter. But that being said, that's my thoughts of the chapters. I think these were really good chapters. I'm really excited for what the cliffhanger is about to be, and it's going to be a long 3 months wait. But hope you guys did enjoy the chapter and my video. You can join my Discord or follow me on Twitter, link down below. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you guys all have an amazing day, and peace out.